Coach, first and foremost, you're not the new guy anymore. You said it in your address to the media that this conference roots for each other. Is there some camaraderie among these Frontier coaches?
Right, there's a lot of camaraderie. I think it's pretty unique, I think, within a conference because there's going to be rivalries and there's going to be everybody wants to win, everybody wants to beat each other. But I think everybody also works together too. So it's been inviting for the past year and a half from the rest of the head coaches. We all know we want to win and win within the conference, but we're all rooting for everybody else outside of the conference as well. And so I think that's unique within conference play, but also pretty fun too. So, and there's no doubt about it, it's the best conference in NAIA. It's the SEC of the NAIA. And so I think the records show for themselves. You got a lot of 6 and 4s, got a lot of teams that probably should be in the playoffs but haven't been because of the conference being so competitive. And where else would you rather be though? You want to be in the best conference, you want to compete in the best conference and win the best conference. That puts you at the top of the country, so where else would you rather be?
Now, how much do you enjoy this event where you can spend time with the coaches in a non-competitive atmosphere?
It's a great event. Yeah, it's a great event, getting everybody together. Obviously, we have our head coaches meetings and kind of discuss the conference and moving forward into the 2019 season. But this media day, I mean, it's a lot of coverage here, spanning over multiple states and all over Montana, obviously. It's a big deal. I think it shows how important this conference is to the state of Montana. We all know that, but going into Idaho and Oregon as well, it's big-time football. And I think our kids feel that way and they understand it, and they're almost surprised. Some of the guys, especially get out of state, when they see how important this conference is in state, how big the rivalries really are. It goes back generations for some people, so it's fun to see, and it's exciting to be a part of.
I know you played quarterback in high school and in college at San Diego, but when did your love for football start?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back as far as I can remember. I remember, being 3 years old, Christmas, and all I wanted was a Raiders helmet and pads and wearing the silver and black, and to me that was what was better than that, what was greater than that. I think my love of football started there. From the moment I can remember, I was in love with the game, and that carried through Pop Warner and through high school and on to college. And I was blessed to play for Coach Jim Harbaugh at USD and Ron Carriger once Coach Harbaugh left for Stanford. And so I've been lucky, I've been blessed in this game, and my career was cut short, which led me into where I am today. It led me into my passion for coaching, which I think has almost exceeded me playing the game, which may sound crazy to some people, but being able to have the impact that I do have, and being able to now as a head coach having a great impact not only on our program but an entire university, an entire town almost, especially how Havre works is pretty neat for me. And there's nothing else I'd rather do. I don't have to show up to work in a suit and tie. I get to show up with my whistle and my watch and my play call sheet, and I get to coach football for a living. What a dream.
Was coaching always the plan after the playing career ended?
I think subconsciously, at some point, my dad was a coach. My uncle coached me, growing up. And so I think there was always that element of loving the game in terms of being a coach. So I think subconsciously, I never wanted to admit to myself, because you always want to play. You want to play as long as possible and play at the highest level. And when your time comes, it's time to hang up the cleats and either enter the business world or whatever field you may venture into, or pick up a whistle. And I decided to pick up a whistle, and it's the greatest decision I've ever made. And it's my passion, it's my love. It's it's our whole family is a part of this. It's a family decision. It's not just me that's a part of it. My wife and my kids are just as involved in our team and our program as I am. So, going back to, I think it starts from when I was young, and I think subconsciously I always kind of knew this is where I was headed.
What was Jim Harbaugh's recruiting pitch, and what was he like as a coach?
Yeah, everyone always asks me. You bring up Jim Harbaugh, and it's always, hey, what was he like? What was he? It's pretty simple, and there's, I give Coach credit. What you see on TV is what you get. So what everyone sees on ESPN or maybe in the Big Ten media days, that's who he is. He's not fake. That's his personality. He's the most highly competitive person I've ever met and probably ever will meet. I think he instilled that into our teams. We went 40-6 in 4 years, and so we won a lot of football games, and that guy likes to compete. It doesn't matter if it's pool or ping pong or football. It doesn't matter. That guy wants to win, and I think our team, was a product of that and product of that personality and philosophy.
I know your wife has an athletic background as well. She played Division I volleyball, and I think her dad played in the NHL. Is that right?
Yeah, so her dad played for the Canadians, was I think the first American to ever start for the Montreal Canadiens. Played football and hockey at Notre Dame. So her lineage is a lot better than mine. We laugh about it. We pray to God our kids get her athletic genes. Her mom played volleyball at Washington State. So there's a background of being pretty athletic, and my wife was too, and played professionally overseas for a few years. There's a lot of, and her dad coached as well, so there's a lot of background of athletics, obviously, in her family and our family. Our poor kids, and we always say we're not going to force sports on them. If they want to be, in the glee club, or if they want to do something else, we're totally okay with that. But I think organically they're going to be involved in football, and my daughter's at practice every day, and she's excited to go to daddy's work, is what she calls it, every day. And so I think football and volleyball and basketball, baseball, all those sports are they're going to be integrated into their lives. But yeah, my wife's a rock, and she coached at Stanford when I was down at San Jose State, was in the strength and conditioning world, and so she's got a background in coaching as well. So yeah, we're highly involved in athletics and collegiate athletics specifically. So
how much do you enjoy having your kids grow up on the sideline and just being around this environment?
I got goosebumps, thinking about it. What a dream. It's faith family football for me. My faith's important to me, but family, family's right there. Family comes before football, and the moment I get off that field, first thing I want to see is my wife, Peyton and Bo. They're my life. They're my rocks. And there's nothing. I know you're a new father, so you know what I'm talking about, Tom. But they're everything to me, and it's how fun is it that they get. And what's cool about Havre, they walk from our house. It takes them 2 minutes to walk from our house to the practice facility, and they come right on the field, and they're a big part of who we are as a program, and obviously, they come to practice every day, and that's the dream, right? That's the dream, is having your family a part of what you do daily.
I recall when you first arrived in Havre, your wife helped plan the Lights strength and conditioning program. Is she still involved?
Yeah, she's highly involved. I like to say I've got a Pac-12 coach living under our roof, that's done it before. So the organization of the whole thing is definitely in her hands, and I don't have a more capable person, obviously, in Havre or probably in the state of Montana, and I'm bragging right now, but that's how much I think of her, and she's really good at what she does. So it's exciting to be able to have that resource, which a lot of people don't have.
Everyone looks at win-loss records, but what have been some of the areas of growth for the Lights off the field?
Away from the field, I think our guys, let's start academically, because that's our number one team goal, is that they graduate. We are student athletes, student coming first. When I showed up, the GPA was around a 2.0. Our first semester, we jumped to a 2.99. In the fall, we dipped back down to about a 2.7, and then this spring we came back up to about a 2.85. Our goal is to be above a 3.0 as a program. Now we have got a lot of new incoming faces, which is typically a challenge, but I think our guys have really stepped up academically, and that stuff carries over. How you act in the classroom and the community is a direct reflection of how you're going to play on the field. I just happen to believe that. In the community, we're involved with Troy Strong. Wes Ross is a guy that I saw your story, and I said, I have got to call this guy, through Mark Sampson. I don't remember how I got his number, but I called Wes, and I said, I want to be involved in whatever capacity. Let's get Havre involved. Let's get Northern football involved. And our guys stepped up to the plate this summer. So we had our own Troy Strong blood drive in Havre in June, and had a wonderful turnout. And what a neat deal to be a part of something bigger than yourself. And I think our kids are growing in that aspect. And understanding what that means, and being able to represent Troy, who everybody I think in the state knows his story, but what an inspiration for kids across the country, outside of even the borders of Montana. So I just wanted to be involved and help, and Wes, we got in contact, and it's been pretty cool, the relationship we've built. And I know Troy's going to come up to a game, and he's going to be on the sideline, with his family, and I want him to be a part of our program, which I know he's a part of a lot of different programs as well.
I know you recently started the quarterback club to keep the community involved. How much does that help the health and future of the program?
Yeah, quarterback club is a big deal that we started when I first got here, and it starts with fundraising. But more than that, it's getting the community involved in what we do. There's rewards for being a part of this program and how much money you give. Everything from sideline passes, and we've had big donors. We're talking in the thousands of dollars that goes directly to football. We're doing a coach's corner every game. We're at for 10 minutes. I'm going over to the tailgating center, and if you've got a coach's corner quarterback club pass, I'm going to go over and I'm going to talk about the opponent, talk about the week and our preparation, and I want everybody involved. I want alumni involved. I want the community involved. That's what this whole thing's about. That's what college football is about. And why not bring it to Northern? Why not have everybody involved and bring a great brand of football? My philosophy is simple. I want a program that everybody can be proud of. In the town of Havre, in the community, in the Highline itself, in the university, the professors, in our administration, our coaches, most importantly, our players. Everybody needs to be proud of what we're doing on the field and off the field. And that's what we're trying to achieve. We've fallen short in some capacities, but I know that we've excelled in others. And it's fun to see the growth and development of the program. It takes time. I'm learning that, everybody thinks they're Superman and you can come in and make a change right away, but it takes time and it takes kids growing and developing and believing in what you're doing.
A year and a half on the job. What's the biggest lesson you've learned so far as head coach?
There's a lot to being a head football coach. Has nothing to do with football. You're torn in a lot of different ways, from personal issues with the players, from administrative responsibilities to budgeting to fundraising. To a lot of it has nothing to do with the X's and O's and being on the field or even leading your football team. That's been a bit of a shock for me, but we've settled in as a staff, and I think it's a lot more streamlined and a lot more organized in how we do things. But yeah, it's always a shock to any new head coach of, man, there's a lot to this that has nothing to do with what you really love to do, and that's coach and develop young men, right? That's been a bit of a shock. The recruiting I love. I've been a recruiting coordinator at the Division I level. I love that stuff. That's what I want to do, and we compete in that area, I think, pretty well. But the administrative stuff is something that was a learning process, and I think we've developed as a staff. I developed as a coach in that area this year.
There's this perception that it's difficult to recruit to Havre for whatever reasons, whether it's weather, remoteness, success. Has that been your experience at all, and what do you tell recruits to sell the school and the program? Right.
I think kids show up, they want to be part of something bigger than themselves, and whether it's in Havre, Montana, or Billings, or a metropolitan city, I think kids want to win, obviously. They want to believe and trust in their coaches and trust in the program. And obviously academically, too. We have some programs, I think, academically that really target certain kids, and that's helped us in recruiting. But I think, it comes down to, I kind of squash that mentality that, we're in Havre, or, it's cold, or whatever it may be. If you love football and you want to get an education, a great education, then Northern's the place for you. And if you want to win football games here in the near future, Northern's for you. I'm talking to the media, I'm talking to you guys about that, and not everybody surely believes that, but the guys that we've brought into our program do believe that, and it's time to prove it. But I squash that mentality of, this is we're out of the way, or kids don't care. If you love football, let's show up and let's do our best to win as many football games as we can, and that's why kids do it. They want to play football and they want to get an education, and we're going to help them do that.
Since day one, you've preached continuous effort, continuous improvement. Every time we chat with your players, they mention it as well. Where did that mantra come from?
Continuous effort started with Coach Harbaughs when I was a young freshman. That was pretty much our mentality. And continuous improvement, to me, it's all about it's easy to sit there and talk about how many wins, and guys, everyone wants to ask you how many wins are you expecting to win this year. Heck, nobody knows. But I do know if we continue to, there's that word, if we want to continue to improve daily and take care of the details and take care of the process leading up to those games and have a 1-0 mentality each week, eventually the score takes care of itself. If you take care of holding yourself to a higher standard, whether it's on the field or off the field, but specifically on the field right now, that score will take care of itself if you've got enough talented players and talented coaches to do so. So that's been our mentality, and that's our mantra. We're going to give continuous effort daily, and we're going to strive to give, continuously improve daily. And it's a daily process, whether it's in the off season, in the summer, fall camp, or game one, August 31st. That's our mentality. It may be from play to play even. We need to continue to grow and improve throughout the game and finish stronger than we started in the fourth quarter or overtime. So that mentality is not going to change. We haven't changed as a program. Hopefully, the rest of it, the wins come, but our message, our mentality, our personality as a program hasn't changed.
Coach, why should fans be excited about Northern football this year?
Yeah, I think we got a tough brand of football. I think we got tough kids that love football. There's two things I want to say about our kids is I think they love football and they love each other, and they're going to play as a team. And as a head coach, what else could you ask for? I think we're going to have a high-powered offense. I do believe that. We got to be able to run the football. There's some pieces up front that we need to fill, and some guys that need to prove themselves this off-season, or I should say this fall camp. So that's a big question mark in the offensive line, and obviously at the quarterback position. I'll tell you this, we got 3 kids that are really talented. All 3 kids can help us win football games. Whoever emerges and helps us, better than the next guy to win those games is the guy that's going to be the starter. I don't care if he's a freshman or a sophomore or whatever he may be. We've got 3 guys that are proven winners that I'm excited about and have seen them develop too this spring and summer. So, it's a big question mark, but I know we're going to be exciting. We've got some good receivers. And then defensively, we're going to make a big jump, in my opinion. Coach Chestnut's done a nice job this spring. Defensively, we've made some adjustments. Again, we're going back. We're a year older up front. We started 4 freshmen on the defensive line. It's crazy. So we have 4 sophomores, and guys with up to 11 games underneath their belt. So there will be 11 games better, and then we'll continue to get better and continue to improve. So, we're going to show up and we're going to compete. So, and hopefully we make a ripple in this conference. I think it's time to take the next step as a program, and that's going to be our mentality week in and week out.